Hello, 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 everyone. So I'm back for another reading, and I'm so excited to see what message comes out today. So I want to jump into this ASAP, but before I do, let me just say that, messages don't resonate with everyone. They're not going to. Not everything I say is going to resonate with everybody. So if this message resonates with you, let me know, leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, whatever the case may be. If it doesn't resonate with you, that is completely okay too, because like I said, not every message is meant for everyone. Also, if it doesn't resonate with you, but you know somebody who it might resonate with, please feel free to share this as well. Send them the video and say, hey, check it out. If you guys are interested in a personal reading with me, I will leave the link to my Etsy shop in the description of this video, so be sure to go check that out as well if you're interested in a more in-depth or personal reading geared towards you and whatever you need read on. So with that being said, give me a couple minutes. We will shuffle the cards and see what comes out, and we'll jump into this. Oh yes, before we do that, I want to show you guys what I'm using to read with today. So we have Witch's Runes. So I'm using a couple different mediums today. We have the holographic Rider-Waite Tarot. And then we have an Oracle deck that is a combination of, two different decks. And I can't remember the names of the decks now. They're really old and out of print, but we're going to use them. So there's Well-Worn Path and the Hidden Path. That is the name of the decks. So I'm excited to jump into this and see what the message is for whoever needs to hear it today. So give me a couple minutes and we will jump into this. Just let me shuffle these cards, pull them to save on some time, and then we'll jump into the message. So let's jump into this reading, shall we? I am excited. So the first thing I pulled cards on was who this reading was for, right? Because I wanted to clarify the type of people that this reading was aimed at and this message was aimed at. So the cards that came out for that, we have the Nine of Wands that came out. We have the Four of Pentacles that came out. And then we had the Empress card, and that was on the bottom of the deck. So what I get from this is, if you are a person who is hurting, who has been in really rough circumstances, who's tired of fighting for things, but is feeling kind of stuck in the circumstances they are in, this is a reading for you. If you are somebody who underneath of this who just wants to be happy, right? Who's tired of being hurt, who's tired of being stuck in crappy circumstances, and you're like, I just want to be happy for once. I want to grow out of this. I want to move on. I want to be happy, but you're feeling really blocked in and really stuck. This is the reading for you, okay? So pay attention if this resonates with you or this is you. Okay, I definitely feel like you guys are the wounded warriors and you're like, I'm just tired. I don't want to be stuck in this reality forever. And there's a part of you that is craving happiness and a part of you that is craving a peaceful life where, you don't have to be stuck in these situations. And this reading will hopefully help you. So let's get into the reading itself. So the first thing I was drawn to pull was the runes, okay? And interestingly enough, when I reached into the bag, what came out was not a rune. So what I grabbed first when I reached into the bag was a pendulum. And I feel like nothing happens by coincidence. So I took this as a sign. Pendulums represent guidance, right? We generally use pendulums to answer questions we have, particularly to give us more guidance. Pendulums are used more or less with like yes, no type of readings and things like that. Okay. and there are, what came through really strong was decisions. So a lot of people will use pendulums when they're trying to make a decision on something and they just need some basic guidance, right? If you're like, should I go this place on this day, and you'll ask your pendulum and it'll say yes or no, right? It's that guidance for direction, and to help you make more effective decisions. So this is all about decisions, saying that the circumstances that you encounter in your life are your choice. Okay. I'm hearing that it's not necessarily your choice. Sometimes the circumstances that get handed to you, but it is always a decision in terms of how you react and how you handle the situations you are in. Okay, so you can be stuck in crappy situations, but are you trying to make the best of those situations? What type of decisions are you making that are leading you to the situations you are in? Right? What kind of decisions do you need to make in order to lead you out of the situations you are in? These are all things you need to be contemplating, right? In terms of choices, what has led you to this position and what is going to lead you out of this position? You need to be thinking of the choices you've made up until this point that's gotten you here, and then choices that need to be made to move you out of this. Okay? Because it's all about decisions. It's all about decisions. So that came out, and then we have the arrow that also came out, and the arrow talks about direction. You need to start focusing your energy on where you want to go. Okay, if you are feeling stuck, it is totally possible to move out of the situation you are in. But you have to have an aim, you have to have a goal, you have to have a direction of where you want to go. Otherwise, you're just aimlessly wandering. Okay? So that's what it's saying. You need to make a decision. You need to look at what has gotten you here, what needs to change differently in order for you to move on, and then you need to look at where you want to move forward to. And be specific, okay? Don't just be like, well, I just want to be happy. Well, what does happiness look like to you, right? What exactly is happiness to you? Okay? So that's what came through with the runes. Now, with the tarot cards, I pulled some interesting cards. So, with the tarot cards, we have the Nine of Swords reversed. We have the Four of Wands reversed. We have the Judgment card reversed. We have the Ten of Pentacles reversed. We have the Justice card upright. And we have the Death card upright. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups reversed. So you are holding on to stuff. All of these reversed cards, and it's really interesting because these reversed cards are... it's mindset mentality. There's a little bit of everything in here, but what I feel like this is this situation has the potential to end, okay? But it's all in the mindset. So we have the Justice card coming up, which says, pretty much it's the cause and effect card for me, okay? What you do affects your reality. What, in terms of this, it's our thoughts, because there's a sword in his hand, right? What you think affects your reality. How are your thoughts contributing to this? You have the ability to move out of this situation. Now, whether or not you can physically move out of it, or whether or not you can just make the situation better by changing the way you perceive the situation, that's a totally different story. But I feel like the situation can be made better. You can be happier even if you can't necessarily get out of the physical situation you are in. Okay, because some of you might be stuck. It might be something like housing, it might be something like money, it might be something like, and you just have to make the best of it and change your mindset around it, because a lot of the changes that we go through when we change our physical reality all start with our inward reality. Okay, our feelings, our emotions, our thoughts. And that's what this is saying. Like, there needs to be a big change and a big awareness put on what you are thinking right now, and also what you're holding on to. The Death card says this situation can come to an end, but you have to be willing to move on from it. And right now, with all of these other cards coming up reversed, especially this 10 of Pentacles with this 4 of Wands here. This 4 of Wands talks about moving on to the next phase, moving forward with things. This 10 of Pentacles is completion, it's happiness, it's joy, it's celebration, it's the end of a physical cycle. You are not allowing yourself to move forward. You are the one keeping yourself stuck. And it is mostly because of the way you are perceiving things and the way you are judging things right now. So with this Judgment card coming up reversed, you are kind of stuck in this negative mindset, I feel like. And this mindset of, oh my God, things are not going to get better. You are only looking at the negative right now. Right? And I don't even know if you guys are conscious of this, because this is reversed, and sometimes that can indicate things being in the subconscious, like you make a habit of looking at the negative. But I feel like you guys are definitely reflecting on the negative, and you're like, oh my God, like this is so bad, this is so bad, this is so bad, this is so bad, this is so bad. Like you're looking at all the things that have gone wrong in your life right now, and all the things that are shit, and all the things that are horrible, and all the things that are contributing to this. And this is why you're staying stuck, because that's where your focus and your energy is going, okay? Your energy is going towards focusing on all of this stuff, all of this stress, all of this anxiety. What is coming up is you need to release it. We have the 9 of Swords. There's shit that we don't necessarily want to face. But again, when you're looking at everything in a negative perspective, you're going to create more negative situations for yourself, okay? Because, the mind perceives what it perceives. What we focus on, we generally create. And I think that is something that we need to be cautious about, or you need to be cautious about if this reading is resonating for you, okay? Because you're definitely somebody who holds on to things and doesn't like to let things go. And you may replay shit in your mind over and over and over and over and over again. And when you get into crappy circumstances, Judgment is also Pluto energy. It can be obsessive, and you obsess over all the shit that's gone wrong in your life. What is that doing to help you? And I think that's something that you have to reflect on with these cards, is really ask yourself, what is reflecting on all this stuff and focusing on all this stuff, where is that getting me? What is that emotionally doing to me? What is it physically doing to me? What is it mentally doing to me? Like, what are these side effects? Because I can tell you now, it's probably nothing good. So the cards are saying to flip the thinking. Flip it. Stop focusing on all the negative. Stop focusing on the shit that has gone wrong in your life, okay? And how you can't move forward with things, how you can't be happy the way you want to be happy. And focus instead on what is in your life right now, okay? What blessings are in your life right now? So that leads me to the very next card that came out, which is the Hearth card, okay? And that falls under the Ace of Cups as well at the bottom of the deck. That's reversed. You're not seeing the blessings that are in your life. You're not focusing on the positive and the things that are being handed to you that are good, that can make you happy, that can make you overflow with these positive emotions. The Hearth card is also coming up, and there was a few different things that I was drawn to in this card. So the immediate first thing I was drawn to was all the smoke. Again, you guys are drawn to all the negative shit that's in your life right now. You need to cleanse this out. And the reason why I also got cleansed is because this is a hazard to you, okay? This is something that can severely harm you. If you know anything about chimneys, like this chimney looks like it needs to be cleaned. You want to know why? Because all that soot there that's just sitting there, it's extremely flammable. Ever had a chimney fire? Right? This is you right now. Like, you've got all this stuff boiling because you haven't cleansed shit out. You haven't released things. You haven't let things go. You're still holding on to stuff. You're holding on to these negative thoughts. You're holding on to this negative perspective. It's time to release that negative perspective. Let it go. Cleanse it out, right? You have a lot of blessings, which I'm seeing in this card as well, right? You have a fire there going to keep you warm. You have food up on the mantle. You have, light. You've got candles burning. There's a lot of blessings in your life that I feel like you're not seeing because you're focused on this black shit. And that's, like I said, it's hazardous. So that's definitely something the cards are saying, like, you have full capability of moving out of this energy. But you're keeping yourself stuck there because you're focusing on how hurt and how horrible your life is right now. You need to start seeing things from a different perspective. Start cleaning out those thoughts, And one way of doing that is becoming consciously aware of your thoughts. So the next thing that came up was the moon. And the moon is awareness. For me, anyways. So the moon has to do with our mind. It's a planet that connects to the mind. So the moon goes through different phases, just like our consciousness goes through different phases, right? There's points where we're not conscious of things and we do things unconsciously and unaware of things. And then there's points where we become conscious of things and we start doing things consciously and aware of things. Right? And I feel like this is something that will help you is bringing awareness to your thoughts. Now, whether that is through meditating, whether that is through journaling things, how you do that's going to be completely different for each person, right? But I feel like bringing awareness to your thoughts is going to be something that's going to be very, very helpful in getting you out of this situation because your thoughts are keeping you really stuck here, okay? So being aware of that, and one thing I personally like to do when I get into like negative mindsets, there's a few different things I do. I will turn on some positive music, right? There's all sorts of like affirmation type of music out there if you're somebody who's really into music, because I personally love music. That's my go-to. So I will turn on like spiritual based music that's very uplifting, whether it's positive affirmations I can tell myself or just a positive message behind the music in general. Something that's going to lift my energy up, right? Instead of staying stuck in the crappy energy that I'm in. The other thing is I will look at the situation and be like, well, yeah, maybe that didn't work out, but here's the positive of this, right? Maybe things didn't go the way I wanted it to, and I'm a little bit disappointed because that didn't work the way I wanted to, but here's the positive of it. Maybe you went to the store and there wasn't the food that you wanted, or you didn't have enough money to buy something that you really wanted or you really needed, and you're down and out because of that, But then you're like, well, at least I have everything I need at the moment, right? Or at least I have a roof over my head. At least I have clothes on my back. At least I'm alive. Changing your perspective on that, right? And switching, which is actually a message I really needed to hear today too. So maybe this message is for me as much as it is for all of you. Change your perspective on things, and instead of looking at things from a negative point of view, switch your perspective into something more positive and try looking at things in a positive way, right? It doesn't mean to avoid looking at the negative, But, switch it to, and you'll be instantly amazed at how much your inner energy changes, okay? Because I do see, like, you just hold on to this stuff. Like, it's never going to change, because we have the astral body and the altar. Both of these cards are reversed, and the way I looked at this is you have the tools to change everything you need, okay? And when everything kind of aligns, but for right now things are out of alignment, again, because your mind might be out of balance or whatever the case may be, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing like the altar and all these tools represent balance and alignment to me, right? And the fact that it's reversed is telling me things are out of alignment, but you're really kind of focusing on how these things are all out of alignment and not necessarily releasing it, because if you can see the astral body, all of that energy, now this is this person, but see how this is all being released. This person opens up and lets everything go, right? This is something you are not doing. So switching your perspective, taking control of situations, understanding that you can make magic. You are creating and manifesting things every second of every day using your thoughts, your emotions. Everything falls into play, and that brings me to the very last card that is lying under the deck, which is the centers of power, right? This talks about our chakras, and our chakras play into that creation and how we create things. Us as spiritual beings have the ability to create. We are much more powerful. And how do we create? We create through our minds. We create through our emotions, right? There's so many different ways that we can create. But when we become conscious of this, then we can create different things for ourselves. We can create realities where we can be happy, right? So you can move out of this energy. You can become, things can become better. Now, like I said, whether the physical circumstances change, which I do feel like they probably will, but it may take time. If you can even change, begin with something that's a little more quicker manifesting, like air, into your mental state, and change the way you perceive things, then that will help you better cope with the circumstances you are in, right? Because remember how I said, I think I remember saying at the beginning of this video, if not, I'm saying it now, we can't always control the circumstances we are in, right? We can't make decisions about, there are things we can't control in our lives, and there are things we can't control in our lives, but what we are always in control of is how we react to the situations that come to us, right? So if we can react in a positive way, if we can change the way that we see that and we perceive that situation into something more positive, then no matter what situation we are in, we are still internally going to be happy and content no matter what. They keep telling me to bring up this. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a story. And I know this is going to sound weird, and hopefully this fits in with this. But I was reading about Holocaust survivors. Okay, people who were stuck inside concentration camps. And I don't know where I read this. I can't remember. It was a while ago. But I remember reading about the survivors and that the people who found things to be grateful for. Now, you got to think, these people were in way worse conditions than we will ever be in. Okay? So maybe that's why they're having me bring it up, because they were in really severe, dire, bad conditions. But the ones who found things every day to be grateful for, the ones who lived their lives with gratefulness, despite the circumstances they were in, they were the ones more likely to survive than the ones who did not. Think about that for a minute. And the impact that that has, right? These people were in really, really horrible, dire conditions. And the ones that stayed grateful, the ones that stayed, that despite the situation they were in, still managed to stay happy and grateful for even just being alive, were more likely to survive these camps than people who did not. So that shows you right there, that's a good example of the power of how we perceive things and the influence that that can have on our lives. So again, you have the ability to change anything, but it all starts inside. It all starts with how we feel and how we think. Okay, so you may not be able to change the physical circumstances around you right this instant. It takes time. But what we can work on changing is how we perceive those circumstances and how we react to them, and how you perceive those circumstances and how you react to them. You can make the circumstances better just in the way that you perceive it and choosing to focus on something positive. So that's the message and the reading I have for you guys. If this resonated for you, please let me know. Give this video a thumbs up, comment. If you know somebody who's going through tough times, maybe needs to hear this message, please feel free to share it with them as well. And yeah, if you guys want a personal reading with me, check out my Etsy. The link is in the description of this video. I hope you guys all have an amazing and blessed day. And I will see you guys all with the next message in the next video, whenever that is. Have a great day, guys.